So yeah, I know. I gotta shave. We'll do it over the weekend. So today's Saturday, and I thought I was working today, but then yesterday, when I was leaving the job, the boss says, "Could you maybe come in for a couple of hours?" And I said, "Wait, I thought I was working." He says, "No, because you worked last Saturday, so this Saturday you off." I said, "Oh, cool." But he says we might use you because there's no other driver, and we need to do like one pickup, and also there's a guy with a flatbed trailer is bringing 2 new machines from US, and it would be cool if you could help unload them, using the tow truck. And he said, "Do you know how to do it? Like you back to the trailer and you just adjust the height so that you just kind of like transload the machine from the flatbed trailer to the tilt and load flatbed truck, and then throw a couple of chains on it and just drop it on the ground in the yard, right?" And so I said, "Cool." And since I now I knew that I didn't have to work on Saturday, this was perfect timing because I needed to change my tires back to all season, because all this week during the day it was above +7, which is the cutoff temperature. That's when the winter tires, they lose effectiveness, +7 Celsius, and also they wear out more quickly if you keep them during those temperatures. And today, for example, now it's 12:26 p.m., so 12:30, and it's already +15, and it's sunny, and they're still saying that next week we're gonna see some rain and some possibly even snow. They even issued a warning saying we might have like 30 centimeters of snow, 1 foot. What? But then they updated the forecast. They said no, it's not 1 foot, it's maybe 1 centimeter on Wednesday. But still, if it's gonna be cold maybe for a day, then it's gonna get back, because this is definitely, after the Easter, right? This is definitely the springtime. And I think last year, normally we do it with like first week or second week of April, right? Oh wow, they're filling up the potholes here. Because yeah, after winter, there's a bunch of potholes on the road. And there's a construction guys here marking the potholes, and then they're gonna bring some asphalt. I don't know how they're gonna fix them, but. And so now I knew that Saturday I'm not working, because I called that Jiffy Lube place, the guys that did my that mounted the winter tires on steel rims and did the swap in October, November, and they told me that Saturday they close like either 4 or 5, and so if I had worked the entire day, I wouldn't be able to do them, to do this. But then since the boss told me I only work a couple of hours, so in the morning I loaded the tires into my car, and I had to drop the back seat. But I don't know, it was difficult to load them in the fall because the wheels were separate from the tires, right? But now, since they are mounted, they take much less space, and so I just had to drop the rear seat, you see, and they fit perfectly. So 2 in the back, 2 here. I put the blanket in there. So these already, see, they have steel rims, so these are my winter tires, so it's all done. But to continue with the story, so yeah, I loaded them, and then I went to work. And today, first thing, they asked me to help them pick up a big scissor lift, like a not a small one, but more like a, not like an aerial platform, but more like a boom lift, with a basket. And so I drove some like 30 kilometers south to some kind of a hockey arena or leisure center. And turns out, yeah, I had to go inside to inquire where that lift is, and then now I know how to operate them. I knew a long time ago, then I forgot, so now I know. You just have to turn the key on the base, in the proper position, release all the stop buttons, right, and then you can operate it from the basket. And I drove it out by myself. Then I started the PTO on the Freightliner, dropped the bed, drove the machine on the bed, lifted it, secured it, and brought back. And that guy in the flatbed, so poor guy, so he slept in the truck, just parked on the side, just outside of our shop. And I remember the days, but yeah, they told him that they will unload him at 9 or 9:30, right? And that was my job. They said, you are the only one here because the other driver is off, and the shop guys didn't want to do it, didn't want to play with the bed, They were not quite sure how to do it. They can drive the Freightliner because all you need is the regular Class 5 license, but they do want to mess with the bed, with the hydraulics. And when I was picking up that boom lift, and we lost the remote. I don't know how it happened, but after the truck was towed for repair, remember when it had all these warning lights, and it was towed by a tow truck to the dealer because it was like in a limp mode, like because of the problem was with the emission system, just as I suspected. When they sent me to pick up the Freightliner, I asked the shop guys there at the Freightliner dealer. I said, so what was the issue? They said the hose between the DEF tank and the engine was broken. So the engine was not getting any DEF, and that's why it panicked. Basically nothing wrong with the engine. As usual, it's always an issue with emission system on these newer trucks. And so all they had to do was replace the hose, and clear the codes. And but after that, after I picked up the truck, I cannot find the remote, for the hydraulics, because that one is super useful. You don't have to, bend down there, the levers in the back, but everything still works. And so after I picked up the boom, I found I looked at the controls closely to see which one operated the tailgate, like the one in the back of where you can pick up another car or something, right? And so I knew I can do it. And so when I came back, when I brought down that lift to the yard, I see the guys there, so I backed to him. I had all my lights on, so I backed my truck, and I asked him to drop the suspension to make his trailer lower. And I used that, tail thing to raise my bed, and I moved the bed of my truck just slightly over the end of his trailer. It was perfect, so no gap, nothing. And then he undid the chains. I found the key. The keys were tied up at the back there. Had to go inside the shop and grab some cutters because I couldn't break the strap they tied down with. And I started the machine and drove them on my bed, and dispatch wanted me to use all the chains just to drive it around. Yeah, some crazy lady parked next to me. All the windows are down, 2 small kids in the back, in those child seats, and she has metal music blasting from the speakers, and of course it's copyrighted, so I cannot record. I even started the engine to help offset that noise, but it's like real like hard rock metal music, and those kids in the back there. And she went into the liquor store, got some booze, and then the kids asked her, "Mommy, can we get some ice cream?" And all the windows are open, the rock music is blasting from the speakers. The poor kids don't seem to mind. But anyway, so yeah, it was interesting today. So I remembered all these things about, tow trucks, right? Because I used to drive exactly a truck like this back in, was like 2001, 2003. So I remember I was pretty good with these beds. You know, I could pick up a container from the ground, like a 20-foot container, using the hydraulic bed, tilt and load bed. You know, there's a lot of cool things you can do with these tow trucks, like 5-ton tow trucks. And so yeah, check this out. That's a nice hat. All the Chinese ladies. So that tells you that the spring is here. When you see people wearing crazy hats like that, the spring is here. And so yeah, I offloaded those two and had a brief talk with the driver he was complaining yesterday. The boss says, oh, he was, you know, making me angry because for some reason they didn't have time to unload him yesterday, and so they told him they will unload him at 9 o'clock today in the morning. And so when I came back with that lift and I backed to the guy, I said, are you ready to get out of here? And he says, oh yeah. And so I drove the machines off, and then they wanted me to put all the chains on, and I just put like 2 chains on each and drove around the building to the yard and offloaded them by myself. Basically tilted the bed, drove them off. And actually these 2 machines, like the electric platform, you know, lifts, they're pretty heavy, because when I tried to raise the bed a little bit, I saw the front axle of my truck went up, you know, like what? Because they were in the very end. So it turns out they are heavy. So basically I don't think this 5-ton truck can take 2 of these big lifts, you know, that I brought. And that's it. Yeah, and then I went to the Jiffy Loop, and the guys remembered me because I left them a good review. I left them good review in October when they were, you know, when there was no waiting time, and they just put the new tires on the steel rims. And so now, and also I was at 20,000, like 19,935 kilometers. So I know Chrysler or Stellantis, whatever it's called now, they want us to do oil changes at least once every 6 months. Or is it every year for this car? I don't know. But last time I did oil change, number 1, was at 6,000 kilometers, right? So I figured I usually like to do oil changes, you know, when seasons change. And I got 5W30 benzoil, fully synthetic. And they checked my air filter. Air filter was still okay. They checked took the guy like 10 minutes to open the glove box, and it turns out that's where behind the glove box there's a cabin air filter. Yeah, he couldn't open, it was difficult. So it took him 10-15 minutes to get to that air filter, but it was like maybe 50% life is left. So I said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll do it in the next oil change. And also they showed me the rear differential oil. They said it's still okay, but you might want to keep an eye on it. So I'm guessing at the next oil change I'll have to change it. I said, what about the front one? Because, you know, it's a 4x4, so it should have a differential in the front. And he says, we don't have access to the front axle, which just shows you the limitations of these quick lube places. So sometimes you do have to go to a dealer, because they you know, because I do need to check, probably since now it's April, so I'll do the next oil change, you know, when I do tire swap, probably in October, right before, you know, the bad weather starts. And I definitely want to make sure that my differential oil is up to the par. So the next oil change I'll probably do at the dealer. But what I like here is that there's no waiting time. All right, so I paid Together with the oil change, it was $239.33 Canadian. So how much did they charge me for okay, and they said, yeah, after 100 kilometers I have to return for the retorque. Oh, tire swap, they charged me $80. So 240 minus 80, so 160. So the oil change with the synthetic oil was $160 and $80 for the wheel swap. They said tire swap. It's not tire swap, it's wheel swap. But I have to keep this receipt so that I can show it to them when I go for retorque, because then the retorque is free. And now finally, yeah, I like that I have my factory wheels back. Oh, and I did the car wash today. And so yeah, I like these rims better because, you know, they're black and of course they're aluminum. And I washed these before I store them. I washed them, but they still look a bit dirty. Yeah. See, so basically, I'll go to a car wash again, maybe next week. So my car is back to the factory look. So just moved the wheels into my kitchen again. Yeah, this time didn't have enough money to go to a dealer, and so I can leave them the tires, but maybe next year. Yeah, maybe in winter when I'm switching back to winter tires, I'm gonna go to a dealer, since I want to do oil change at the dealer to check, you know, the differential oil. And yeah, I made a mistake with the garbage bags. I got extra large. Turns out you need probably XX large, you know. I saw those, but I thought those would be too big. But yeah, these ones just, even my wheels, they're 18-inch. Yeah, not 17, 18, but not 19, not 20, right? On all my previous vehicles, I had 20-inch wheels. So I don't know, where do these guys get those white, you know, bags that they usually put the wheels in? I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna keep them in my kitchen till October. At least now I partially covered them in these, I cut the bags open, and now the tires are covered now, so I'm gonna throw a blanket over them. And today was my payday. It's supposed to be Monday, but I'm guessing I already see money in my account. And I was a bit disappointed, you know. I worked every day. I think 1 week I worked 6 days. And after tax, I only got like $2,000, you know, Canadian. So basically 1,000 a week. You know, and it's very physical work, you know. So I was expecting a bit more, but that's why I had to save on wheels. Maybe next time I'll just, you know, mount them myself, because then you can go and ask them to retorque them. Usually they don't charge you for that. And so just now I finally my K&N filter is in stock. You know, I waited almost a year. As soon as I bought this Jeep, I checked K&N Filter's website, and at first they only showed the old engine, which I think was 2.4 liter, like regular gas engine. You know, I would put in 23 Jeep Compass and then engine, and it shows you the outdated engine. And so I know that the air filter for that one will not fit this one. And so it took a few months until they updated the engine. You know, then I would do a search. Now it shows me the correct engine, 2.0 liter V4 or i4. But then they show you the filter and it says out of stock. Like, it's not out of stock, it's basically they didn't make it yet, you know. And so today, and I signed up for the alert, You know, very useful feature when you're waiting for some stock from K&N. I signed up for alert, and this morning I got an email saying that your filter is in stock. Yes. So the filter was $65 US, and shipping was, they give you two choices, FedEx International Economy, $26, and FedEx International Priority, I believe $36. And so at first I chose the economy, and then I thought, wait, it's only $10 difference. So I checked the priority option, so it cost me $91 US. But I'm a big believer in these filters. I know many people don't like them. I think it's because they never tried them, and some people say that, you know, yeah, they increase the power a little bit because they don't filter as well, and I disagree with that. These filters, they use premium materials, so they filter actually better than factory filters, and they have less restrictions. So I know each time I put in a K&N washable filter, and I did that with pretty much all my vehicles, either I did the air intake, but K&N air intakes are no good. I used when I had a Ram and a Ford, I used the different one, what is called Air Raid. Yeah, Air Raid, they have much bigger element, you know, like the air intake from Air Raid is way better in my opinion than K&N. But K&N washable filters are pretty good, you know. All you gotta do is, you know, like, I don't want to mess with the air intake, so I just want to replace the factory regular filter with a washable filter. So that should give me a slightly better sound from the exhaust system. That's been my experience. It affects the sound for some reason. And the car should become a bit faster off the start, and just get a couple of extra horsepower, believe it or not. Again, that's been my experience. This is my first car with a turbo engine, so I have no idea how that filter will perform in a turbo engine. But the car, I noticed something. Either it's because of the mileage. Now I have about, what did I mention, 19,300 kilometers on the odometer, or because it became warmer, right? I noticed that the car became faster. You know, I don't have to push, you know, gas as much if I want to just pick up speed fast, you know. Yeah, I like this Jeep, you know, like a very useful little vehicle. The only thing I don't like is the gas economy. I don't know, why is it that with a 2-liter turbo engine in the city, especially when it's cold, my gas economy, let me just convert here, liters per 100 kilometers to miles per gallon. So if I go just in the city, right, between lights, let's say I do, when I used to do that DoorDash and Uber Eats, so I would get as bad as 11 liters per 100 kilometers, which is equal to 21.3 miles a gallon. And then last 2 weeks ago, when it was cold, I saw 12 liters per 100 kilometers, which is equal to 19.6 miles a gallon. You know, on a 4-cylinder car, and it's a light vehicle, it's not as heavy as, let's say, Dodge Charger, you know, or Challenger. I don't understand, why does it take so much gas, you know? But again, it's very utilitarian, right? Lots of room inside, very comfortable. I like the seats, you know, I got all the bells and whistles, like, you know, heated seats, heated steering wheel, you know, everything is power mirrors, power windows. It's I like it. It's a nice little car. So plus it's very tall, and I never had any issues with traction in winter. It has automatic 4x4. When it senses that one of the wheels is spinning, it'll apply, you know, extra traction to that wheel, I believe. And also, especially with the winter tires, this Jeep was amazing during the winter. So Now I'm back to my factory wheels. I'm looking at the Jeep through the window. Yeah, I like these wheels much better than those, you know, ugly black steel rims. I just need to wash them, you know. So, okay, that's it. That's the update. Oh, and yeah, so no news on my freight. I was trying to find a quote for a chipper or grinder machine. For some reason, nobody's interested. Oh, and that kid that brought 2 scissor lifts on a flatbed, young guy, probably Indian, but speaks, you know, great English. And I asked him, you know, how's work? I said I used to do this stuff myself, and he was interested, so we started chatting as I was tying down those scissor lifts, you know. And he said, yeah, it's not a very good job, you know, when you have a family. But he said, well, he says, I'm single. I'm young, and so I've been doing it for 3 years just to see how it goes, make some money, you know. But I think he's just a company driver because I saw the logo on the truck. He had the Manitoba plates, and his trailer was a 53-foot flatbed with aluminum floor. If I was buying a flatbed or step deck, I would never go with aluminum floor again because I'm so used to, you know, wood on RGN trailers. It's so much more useful just to have, you know, wooden floor. Of course, it's heavy, but aluminum is just so easy to damage, you know, so easy to scratch. So forget it. And what else? Yeah, so now my next payday is April 30th, which is Tuesday. So probably I should get it, yeah, Tuesday. So I have to survive 2 more weeks. Yeah, basically this job, it's basically living paycheck to paycheck, you know. But now I'm getting some pension. I registered for a small pension. So after all these years, all I got was, I think it's like $365 Canadian. But you know, even that helps. And then of course I have my YouTube money, which helps with the mortgage. So anyway, we'll see what's going on at the end of the year. Maybe I'll get a truck, you know, and go back to Landstar with my own truck. But I keep checking postings for long haul truckers, you know, like class 1 drivers. Today I saw something I thought of applying, but it's basically the same job as what I'm doing now with the rental equipment company, except it's a much bigger company and they require a tractor trailer driver, you know, basically doing same thing, well, probably less scaffolding, but you're driving a truck and probably tilt and load trailer, and you move machinery, like same scissor lifts, you know, boom lifts, maybe forklifts, I don't know. But these guys pay way better. It's like $30 an hour, and it's Monday through Friday. But I look at their locations, and the closest yard is like 20 kilometers away, so it's triple the distance that I have to drive now to my current employer. So I don't know, but I don't see, surprisingly, you know, and it's spring, I don't see many promising offers from companies looking for, you know, tractor trailer drivers. It's all cheap, people don't want to pay, and I'm guessing the freight is down now, so the demand for, you know, class 1 or tractor trailer drivers is not as big as it used to be. I don't know. When I see something really interesting, I apply, but for now I'm just staying at this job. And so yeah, my Freightliner is back. They put all new tires on the drives, on the drive axle. So I drove it today, so it's ready to go. So hopefully maybe I'll get less scaffolding next week, because again, the company is looking to hire a part-time guy specifically for scaffolding during the busiest time of the week, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if they do get a guy like that, then my job will be easier, because then I'll be mostly driving the Freightliner 5-ton truck and moving equipment. So thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.